What's up, guys? Welcome to the D.R. Horton new development in San Leandro. Guys, we're actually here for two reasons. Number one, I'm still an active agent and I help people buy and sell real estate, and I'm actually closing on a unit very similar to this next Friday. The other reason why we're here, you may be asking, I came to you because you're a flipper. So why are we looking at a new construction? There's actually a reason, guys. The reason is, obviously, these developers are building homes for the buyers of today's market. So what we're looking for are, what kind of materials are they using? We're gonna steal some design tips, and we're gonna see if, hey, is there something that we can learn from this developer? Or are we gonna point out some things that we would have did a little bit differently? So come along, we're gonna look at the home, and we're gonna give you guys some tips along the way, and you're gonna get to look at a very cool freaking house. Let's go. All right, guys, when you walk into the property, this is a townhouse style, so it's actually gonna be 3-level. Very customary to have a bedroom down below, a bathroom, and a garage right behind you. So some people like townhouses, some people don't. There's a pros and there's a cons. The pro is you get a lot of bedrooms for the amount of land, but the con is that you got a lot of stairs, which if you're older or if you have a disability, it's almost impossible to live. So come on in, guys. First thing I want to bring out is that with new development, this is something that I don't really like, but they do it because they're building multiple homes and it's about efficiency. But you'll notice right off the back, texture. They do texture because it is very expensive and takes a lot more time for them to do a level 4 or level 5 smooth. In the higher end homes, especially homes where we're flipping that are in the upper $1 million to $2 million range, we always try to go level 4 or level 5 smooth, which basically means you have no pivots, no divots, and it's literally just a smooth surface on the walls. Granted, it's not a deal killer, but that is something that I noticed right away when it comes to new construction. They put carpet down here. I don't really mind it. I think carpet's very cozy. If I had it my way, I would run the same LVP, luxury vinyl planks, throughout the whole entire home and put rugs in place for that warmth, for that color contrast, but it's okay. This is something that you can easily change out if you're buying a home. You know, it's not too expensive to do. Let's come on into the bathroom. See, so the bathroom here, they didn't tile it. They actually use the same flooring that is in the rest of the home. Personally, that's not something that we would do in our flips. You don't want the bathroom to look too similar to the rest of the home. The kitchen is okay, but in the bathrooms, I would have tiled it or gone with a different kind of LVP that mimics tile. Again, the first thing I noticed here is that they put this shower surround. They do this because this is much cheaper. You pop it in. The pro of this is that it's very unlikely to leak. Durability is much sturdier. You don't have to worry about grout lines, but the con is it's not that luxurious. But again, the home that we're buying in right now is under $1 million in a very desirable city. So they did have to save on some costs so that the developer can make a bigger profit margin. Looking at the countertop, not too bad. No soft close. That's okay. You can swap out the hinges later on if you want soft close. But I do like the cleanliness of the white. I do like the chrome, and I do like the light switches. So let's go on over. Now let's take you guys upstairs, and then that way we can kind of see the main living area of the home. As you walk up, I'm not too keen on these handrails. They're a little bit older. I would have gone with something a little bit more modern. If this was my flip, I would have gone with a glass. Again, it's gonna be more expensive, which is why the developers didn't do that. And I would have went with something a little bit more square like here. The reason being, square, sharper edges mimic more of a modern taste, modern era. Carpet on the stairway up, not a bad idea if you're running up and down and you slip and you hit your shins on it. It's a little bit more cushion, but personally, I would have gone with the same flooring, LVP throughout the whole thing. Welcome to the living and dining open layout. And immediately when you come into the room, you're gonna see you're surrounded by rear windows and front windows, which allow a lot of natural light. The second thing that you're probably not gonna be able to notice in the camera is that these are not your standard ceiling height. much higher, much airier, and they've of course put a lot of recessed lighting. Now, there is a such thing as too much recessed lighting, and then I've gone to some flips where people put way too many. Generally speaking, I like to do, 2 rows in the kitchen, 2 rows in the dining room, and then 1 row or 2 rows in the living room. I think they did a great job with the placement of the lights here. And overall, it's not small, it's very airy, everything works. You have your dining area that actually seats 6 people, and you have a very comfortable living room, and there is a degree of separation here. So kudos to the developer for not making the home so tight and so packed. Let's come on over to the kitchen. Something they did very well. I love the fact that they put such a large island. I love the fact that you can put so much on top. You can have some more bar seatings as I'm prepping. We can hang out, we can talk. But the open layout makes it so cool. You have guests over there hanging out, lounging. I can be over here prepping, cooking, and still be a part of the party. So, very good design. Again, going over here looking at the kitchen. Simple. I do like the gray. The other options, the other models have the white. I think either or would be great. Let's see if they have the soft close, okay? Because the downstairs one didn't. All right, that's passed. Let's go with the bottom one. Nope. Maybe I did it too hard. Let's see. Nope. Okay. So at least with the pools they did, but with the doors they did not. Another thing I like to look at, and especially if you're a big cook like me, is does the home have a ventilated hood? In this case, it does, but sometimes when you see these microwaves, they're actually not venting out. They're just recirculating the air. Okay, so this is a good job on DR Horton. Unfortunately here, you do not have a gas-fired cooktop, but inductions are pretty effective. I've used them a lot. They do work, but there's something about fire that makes cooking that much better. Something that caught my eye right away. Fix and flipper, here's a tip. Most of these fridges, guys, when you're buying them, I would spend a little bit more to get counter depth fridge. What does that mean? It lines up with the counter so that it doesn't protrude almost 8-9 inches. You see how awkward it looks? Come on this way, if you look from this way, it stands out like 8-9 inches. And number 2, they need to adjust the leg because it's starting to go out like this. Quite weird. The pro of having that counter depth is that number 1, it looks a lot better. The con, but most buyers and stuff like that never know, the con is that it's not as deep. So you can't put as much groceries. But I think honestly, you have to sacrifice comfort for beauty, okay? So don't go cheap, it is a little bit more money. Another thing that I would like to point out, one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to flippers and sometimes developers, they put a sink that is just too small, and they put a sink that is actually too shallow. Why does that matter? Guys, if you're a big cook like me and you're cooking with big pots, you put it in and it hits the sink. Or if you're putting stuff in it and all of a sudden you put one pot and the whole sink is filled, that's just terrible. So kudos to them, they did a good job here. Come back this way. You had a full bathroom downstairs, and on the living room area, they did not put a shower. Typically, you don't need one because there are no rooms here. But simple design, same cabinetry here, same white countertop, toilet, and that's all you really need. Another thing to note, the doors are so high. I'm about a little under 6 feet, and these are almost double that. So let's go take a look at the rest. You don't think you need one until you start cooking. A pantry is a game changer because in my old home, I didn't have a pantry, so I had to look and open every single cabinet to see where all my cans were, my pasta goods. It's amazing when you can just open up and visually see what you have to cook with. And this is also good because you can put your bigger, blenders that you don't typically want on the island to clutter up the space. So it's really cool to have a pantry. Here's a tip, guys. In some fix and flips, it's very hard to put a pantry, but if you can, it does add some value. Now, let's work our way up to the bedroom area, and where there are 3 additional bedrooms and 2 baths. So come on. Before we actually go up, I do want to bring, this is not so much a deal killer, but it is a preference. I do realize that with these flooring, they have a hint of gray. Gray was cool a few years back. I think gray today is not as timeless as people thought they were going to become. They are a little bit more colder. I would have typically gone with a more of a white oak or a more of a tannish oak. Those are timeless colors, but again, it's just up to preference. But personally, in every single one of our flips, we typically go with the oak, light oak, tan oak kind of color. So let's go on up. Welcome to the 3rd floor. We're in a townhouse, so hopefully you're not too tired, but this is a good way to ensure that you are gonna get your steps in, you're gonna stay healthy. So coming on up here, this is where you're gonna find your laundry area. And it's actually a pretty good idea because guess what? You're gonna be coming home, you're gonna be undressing. There's no need to have the laundry area in the garage. Let me tell you why. It is a poor design to have it in the townhouse when the laundry's in the garage, because can you imagine carrying your hamper all the way down 2 flights of stairs, and then when you're done, bringing them back up to go ahead and put them away? This was smart on their behalf. Let's go behind you. We're gonna go into the master bedroom. Look, if you're watching this from Texas, if you're watching this from another area where your homes are big, you're gonna say this room is small. But in California, this is very generous. You have a king-size bed where you can fit 2 nightstands. I can actually walk around. This, guys, is California big, all right? So kudos to the developer. They didn't make the master bedroom too small. Come on, guys. Here, you actually have a walk-in. Fantastic. You have already built in. Now granted, in my preference, I'd probably go with California closets, but this is enough for a new development. Cool. Yeah. Come on this way, guys. Again, I'm gonna point out a couple designs that we never really think about. Number 1, the bathroom, the toilet is actually separated. Now this is the model home, so they do remove the doors. But in the regular homes, you're gonna have a door here where you can open up and whoever's inside can close the door. Why is that good? Well, think of it this way. You and your partner has to go use the bathroom. They stinking up the place. You can still be here getting ready. It's very genius. I love it. Shower's very big. You have the dual vanity. Love this because personally, my wife's a mess. She has her makeup everywhere. And when you have one sink, guess what? Now your sink becomes a mess. You have hair in it. But now with this one, that's her side, this is mine. Great design. Let's go on outside to the other bedrooms. Back here, you have the 2 bedrooms. This is actually very nice. Let me tell you why. I'm a parent. You're gonna be over there. Your kids are gonna be over here. They can be making noise. And what's gonna happen is if you're right next to them, that noise is gonna transfer very loudly. But with them being across the hall, now it's gonna be a little bit more muffled. You can get your beauty sleep and they can mess around, all right? Good size bedroom. You can probably get away with a king size bed. This looks to be a full size. A queen is gonna be a little bit bigger and pretty good size, I would say, because ultimately if you wanted a king size bed, you just have to get 2 smaller nightstands. Closets are quite generous and the view, the natural light is plentiful. It's nice. I mean, the light's on, but you can see a lot of natural light flooding this unit. Why? Because we're 3 floors up and there are no buildings taller to block and obstruct some of the natural light coming in. Turn around. Again, the bathrooms appear to be all similar in style. They use the same built-in. They didn't go with any tiles around. Again, cost effective. It works. It's clean. It's easier to maintain. So again, I'm not too mad about it. I think overall, they did a very good job. I would love to live here. I think anybody would be happy to live here. Let's go downstairs. Let me talk to you about a little bit more tips when it comes to buying new construction, but also some flip tips as well. Let's go. Nice. Well, that concludes the tour, but let me emphasize a couple of design tips that I think I would have done a little bit differently in this home. Number 1, I'm not a big fan of gray walls. Now, gray walls work with a lot of staging, but to me personally, the too much gray makes the place a little too cold. So as a flipper, my go-to is always to have white walls, white trims. Why? It's brighter, and also it works for all staging as well. And when you want something to pop, that is when I would put in a statement artwork, a statement furniture, and that would make the room pop. Fix and flippers. You don't have to go too expensive to make a place look luxurious. Look, although we love to use marble, this is quartz. Quartz is fully okay, and a lot of quartz can actually mimic marble. Now, if I'm doing a $5 million flip, you bet your butt I'm gonna be putting in some real marble, real expensive stuff. But for the average home, the average flip, quartz is gonna do just fine. White subway tiles to me is a little played out if you run it this way. What I would have done is gone with a little bit of a bigger subway, and I would have ran it vertical. You ever see that? It actually makes the place look a little bit taller as well. The next thing, guys, this is not so much a tip for flippers, but this is a tip for new buyers. When you're looking at a home, I always tell my buyers to sit down, because this is what you're gonna see most of the time when you're in your home. This is when you can spot out the flaws, the cracks, and anything that's wrong with the house. So sit down, take your time, and start looking. But if you're a flipper, bring a chair when you're done with the construction and sit down in random parts of the home and see what part your contractor missed, and go around with a blue tape, hit them with that, and make sure they fix it. So, what are we ending with? So my channel is obviously more geared towards fixing and flipping. So why would you, as a fix and flipper, go and look at all these model homes? Well, number one, guys, it keeps you in tune with what's happening in the market. Because guess what? When I look at these homes, I'm also talking to the new development sales specialists, and they're telling me how many buyers are coming through, how many contracts they have, how fast are these homes selling. That's the first thing. That gives you a pulse on the market. Number two, it is always good to go around and get some design tips to stay up to trend. Now, new developments aren't always the best at trends because they're a little bit slow, but this can work if you're gonna go look at other flippers, to go look at other homes in the marketplace that you're flipping in, so that you can see what they're doing, what material they're using, what kind of style, design, what color choice, and you can just go and copy it. Don't reinvent the wheel, guys. A lot of us are not natural born designers. We don't have the eye for it. I personally do not have the eye for it. What I'm good at is replicating and duplicating. I go out, I see the flooring, I like it, I take a picture of it. Then I go to my floor guy and say, I want this. I look at the color, I like it. I'll go to the paint store, I'll get the swatch, I'll copy it. That is what you guys should do as a flipper. Now, if you want to be a little bit more advanced and spend some money, you can always hire a designer. But I'm teaching you guys ways to learn for free. So if you found some value out of my content, if you found some value out of this video, or you're a buyer and you want to tour this home, you can always reach out to me, or give me a like, a follow, a notification bell, whatever, man. Just help me out, because I'm doing this all for you guys. Thank you so much. Let's catch you guys on the next episode.